All right, y'all. Hey, everybody. Uh, my name is Waldog, the Holy Vampire. Superhero, so-called superhero dude. Got I got other titles, aliases, but they're more appropriately called titles. I think if you have a title such as whatever. Usually titles are good, right? Like I'm trying to think of a title that's not good. I mean, there's like bad things to call people, right? Generalizations, but like titles, like the word title to me sounds like something good. It's like, oh, he he or she or he got the title of UFC champion. But that's a different title. No, it's the same, right? That's the same thing. Anywho, pretty excited. I got some groceries. I feel like such a big deal right now because I got extra food money. So what that means is that my gains, my gym my gym membership will be better utilized with my enormous muscular physique. It's gonna be fantastic. Look at I'm trying to think of this phrase. I don't know if I can say it because I'm too dumb right now. Uh, they came for the jokes. They stayed for the muscle show. Anyways, uh, so I've got this. I bought a pressure cooker. All right. So to me, let me explain this how I perceive it. Since I'm reading books about conversation and the topic of looking at things through a person's perspective, and then emotionally reaching out and connecting with that person by asking questions. Now, I'm not going to do anything of that nature, but let me talk about what I think, from my perspective, what a pressure cooker, what it is. Okay, my first thoughts before I even went shopping online, get a price check on them. My first thoughts are pressure cookers, fancy. What a pressure cookers. That's what the astronauts use, right? That's like science. And like I looked up a pressure cooker and they're different ones, and I was like, wow, these aren't that expensive. I'll buy one that's used anyways because I'm frugal. Anyways, I look up a pressure cooker, right, and I'm like, wow. It says it can cook meals 75% faster because it pressures and it cooks. And that's somehow that makes sense. How does that make any sense? Like I've been to college and then I left college, but I've been to college and I remember it talking about you got pressure, you got heat. If you increase the pressure, the heat increases because the molecules are dancing around. They get more excited and under pressure. They're closer together. Who knows? But let me ask this question: Why do I care about the molecules dancing when I'm making beef stroganoff or chicken and rice and beans? Why do I care about the molecules dancing under pressure? Let me tell you, from an artistic perspective, if someone was to say, hey, would you prefer your molecules to be dancing under pressure, closer together, or further apart? I would say, well, I'll take the former. I prefer them dancing closer together. I prefer to see dancers closer together dancing than farther apart. So, anyways, pressure cooker. I bought a used one. I saved like $20. Hopefully, it works. But anyways, I'm excited, and I bought. Clearly, you're looking at someone who is inept at certain things. I've got explanations or whatever, and I can justify my lack of, or should I say, my poor decision making and lack thereof of doing certain things, like buying a flippin' spatula. I don't have a spatula, so I went online. And it wasn't a spatula; it was a ladle. You kind of get soups or whatever. And I spent $7 on a ladle. I was like, that sounds like about right price. That sounds about right for a. I was like, all right. And then I went to the Dollar Tree today after the fact. They had hundreds of ladles. And they were $1. And I thought to myself, well, I'm trying to justify my purpose. Justify my purchase of the ladle. I was like, well, I can use it. It's higher quality material. I can use it to, when I'm making some real hot soups. But as I misspoke, I am justifying my purpose. My purpose needs to be justified because for whatever reason, I'm in a different predicament. I'm in a different situation. I've got food money, more food money, I should say. I've got some strange alien technology, astronaut technology, where the molecules are dancing together and making delicious food. I got my pressure cooker on the way. But currently, I have I bought a little electric stove top, like $10 for like a burner, and I was gonna make some dinner tonight. I was gonna make some rice, and I bought some cream of mushroom soup. So I was gonna make some rice, cream of mushroom soup, and that's basically it. Too lazy to go get some. It would have been really good with some chicken, but I'll get some tomorrow. So I'm still waiting. I mean, I bought like a lot of things online, like $100 worth of groceries online, so they're still on their way. And I know I can just go to the store, but it's not that big a deal right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty tired. Gym a couple times a day. I've been I've been cramming these books. I'm not sure if that's the right expression. I think you cram for tests. But I feel like I'm cramming these books like I'm getting ready for a test. I've been just devouring these books, and of course, I have to take pictures so I can go back and reread some of the important parts. Review. But the book I'm reading right now is kind of a culmination. I'm trying to think of the right word. I think that's the right word. Where it's just like all I'm learning some more advanced theory in regards to conversation. I know it sounds ridiculous, but let me explain my situation a little bit. I have a try to put yourself in my shoes for a second. By reading this book right now, it's talking about, hey, if you talk to somebody and they're, kind of laying, not laying, but they're like leaning against the wall or whatever, they're kind of ignoring you, then they're probably not, you got to talk to them and try to figure out, but it's like talking about negotiation and what people want and how the brain works and how we, but I'm trying to put yourself in my position as a so-called superhero dude who, if imagine having the superpower, if you look at someone, they know that they're looking at you, or they know that you are looking at them, and having like a magical energy about you, not just physically, but in the area around you, and going to frequent places to where you're known for being a vampire or a so-called superhero, then try to have these conversations. It's extremely difficult. Because what kind of conversation? Because I mean, it's right on the money, so to speak. Right on the nose. I don't know if that's the right expression. What this book is trying to tell me is this book is about negotiation. It's like, okay, you got two people talking. They're getting to know each other. How are we coming to terms? What are the rules of engagement, basically? What are the rules for communicating how we feel, what we want, and how we're going to communicate those things? Well, it turns out there are rules. It turns out there's a way of going about this, and I'm reading this book. It's very interesting. But it's information that I think is incredibly. I'm skeptical of it, but I because I hope, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I hope that I can use this information practically, realistically, so that I can have rules and get here. Let me say something real quick, and I appreciate y'all for letting me kind of rant at this point, but I'm just gonna say this statement as a blanket statement, and it may not be true, but I feel like saying it. On the topic of dancing, on the topic of the talking about the molecule dancing in the pressure cooker and how dancing and making jokes about that or whatever. I feel like communication is like a dance. And what I'm trying to do is be able to learn the appropriate ways to set the rules of the movements of the interaction to where there's order, right? There's a back and forth in order, and it's that is severely lacking in my communication abilities. Because here's what happens, and let me give a fine example. Let me finish what I was saying first. I don't think it's just me that's being a bad dance partner. Now, the second thing I want to say, I had a interaction with a person today. It was nice. I started doing the dance. Haven't talked to a person in a while. Talking doodle 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 doo. But the person, the person was throwing me off. Have you ever? It's funny. I was trying to be funny. I was trying to be lighthearted, but I could feel, I could sense, I could tell, I could read the person's eyes, and it's just like, have you ever try to keep things like, how to say this? I think I'm ashamed of this, or I'm like regrettably, painfully aware. It's like we were both painfully aware of the situation and communicating at that point. It's like we were both kind of being polite, being kind of joking around a little bit, being like we're in public, right? Like we knew each other, but we're not too much. And I could tell that this person was wanting to talk further, wanting to talk deep, move this conversation somewhere else, but fully aware that I did not want to, so that person did not. It was just I could just see like the sadness in this person's eyes. And I'm like, man, I don't know what to say. Because it is definitely a double-edged sword, so to speak. Being having supernatural abilities, having supernatural recognition, if you will, fame, notoriety, and wanting to just communicate as human beings need to communicate to be able to build relationships. I never thought it would be this difficult. Or should I say almost impossible? Because what I've learned, let me speak this. This is my truth. I'm going to speak this. That I have learned, this is my truth. I have discovered that within my instincts, or within our instincts as human beings, we have the genetic knowledge to interact with supernatural things. It's there. I want to say I can prove it, but clearly I can't. Not right now. That's not the point. You gotta take my word on it. So then if there is the genetic knowledge, it's in our instincts, then and I'm talking about the whole dancing process and how communication is needed to build a relationship. There has to be an answer, and I'm afraid and speculative that the answer isn't something I'm gonna like. I have some theories. But I don't feel like talking about that right now. Basically, the world that I want right now for myself and for others, is to build relationships and communication and to growth and development. Now, I say that's the world that I want right now. I don't mean that that's reality or the way that things should be. It's everything I just said about supernatural and instincts. So, I'm still learning, still growing. This is something I'm working on right now. I'm glad I'm able to talk about it. Grateful. Praise God. Praise the goddesses in my life, the people that are spiritually connected to me. And appreciate y'all for letting me talk and joke around. So I'm going to go eat some food and hope y'all have a good night. All right, bye.